Everyone, I'm Tulsi, and I am introducing my amazing book, Happiness Within, a journey of reflection and self-discovery. So for those of you who haven't got the book already or are tempted by the book, I'm going to read out the introduction today. Okay, so settle yourselves in, grab yourself a beverage of choice, and I hope you enjoy my introduction to Happiness Within. Everyone has their own story. Like many before me, the inspiration behind mine was when I realized how much life is a journey. This journey is something many people go through: self-discovery, transformation, self-realization, and becoming. I've captured the details of some of my life's trials and tribulations within these chapters. I've craved logging information ever since the age of 11. It was around the time my brother and I were given our very first computer. We knew it was expensive to buy a computer back in the day. My dad, a laborer within the construction industry, did everything he could so we'd feel privileged. Instead of hiring external contractors, he would learn new skills and trades to save him money. I never knew how physically demanding these roles were as a child. Fortunately, my uncle, Dad's business partner, was strict with their work-life balance and refuted Dad's suggestion to work every day in the week. They compromised and allowed themselves one day off each week. To this day, I am thankful for this decision. The memories of my childhood are filled with family gatherings, picnics in the park, weekends at the beach. They shape my version of what happiness is. Even to this day, those memories bring me joy when I think back to my childhood. My mum, whose ambitions were to become a nurse, was not given a chance to further her education after high school, and she struggled to find a job. This frustrating period lasted for 9 months until she finally landed a role in an accountancy firm, which she absolutely loved. She adored her co-workers and the autonomy the role offered her. However, once she and my father married, everything changed for her. It was not unusual for Indians to have extended family members living under one roof. As a new wife, she was expected to serve all members in that house. She had no control over the way the household was run, and the new head of the household, her mother-in-law, was the one who made the rules. Mum's responsibilities extended beyond contributing to the household income. My mother was required to take care of the family home and everyone residing in it. She was accountable for cooking every family meal, including providing lunches for the men of the house before they went to work each day. Her duties included cleaning the house from top to bottom before leaving for her job, washing clothes and wiping the floors by hand, as well as tidying the kitchen. I can't help but think she was in a real-life Cinderella story, a labor that continued long after my brother and I were born. When I was very young, I never considered myself to be from a working-class family until I understood what that word meant. Because my parents gave my brother and I everything we could possibly need growing up. I did not know back then how fortunate we were to have a television or a digital box. We moved house so that my brother and I lived closer to a better school. My dad was a huge advocate of education, saying on many occasions, "I wish I'd studied more to get ahead in life." And that is how I knew we were working class. The struggles he faced to give us everything we needed was a huge privilege. My parents always did the best they could, which included giving us a personal computer, a truly momentous occasion. At the time, I thought this must be one of the most expensive things in our house because it was placed in my parents' room. Isn't it funny the things we remember so distinctly when we recall memories from our childhood? Our brain is wired to make memories by using several different parts of the brain. The brain is clever in making associations from incoming information. This is the same when we listen to our favorite song. Nostalgia takes us back to the very moment in time when we formed the memory listening to that song, drawing us back to the emotions where we may have felt, and we can often remember what it is we were doing at the time. When we had our computer, one of the things I will never forget is the sound of dial-up internet. It was within this space that I started writing my own fictional novel. I thoroughly enjoyed reading fictional books as a child and continued to crave this other world where I could be anyone else, a world where I could make up stories and imagine myself living in this alternative universe. As I sit here attempting to put my thoughts on paper for the introduction, I knew I had never lost the desire to write. However, because I always seen myself as a below average student, I was unsure if this is something I could do, that it would simply remain a hidden dream. This aspiration to write stuck in my heart for a long time, until the inspiration to write struck. A close friend and I were discussing our personal stresses over a coffee on a late summer's day in Brackley, when she suddenly queried, how had I managed to process things that were difficult in my life? How can I bottle up what you have and take it with me? She asked. At the time, I was astounded that people would want to know why I am the way I am. But I started to recall how they would ask, how I would dealt with situations, tackled negativity, faced challenges, and remained optimistic and positive in my outlook. That was the moment where I experienced the avalanche of questions. Questions upon reflection included, what do you mean there's something special about me? I sat there admiring my incredibly talented and smart friend. She was an engineer, someone who had discovered her passion for this field of work early on. She was upbeat, engaging, funny, and I loved her job. She was also engaged to be married to a true love. Most importantly to me, she personified what well-being, success, and happiness were. She radiated all of them from the inside out. And this is where my thoughts gathered further momentum. What is the ultimate goal in life? Is it to be happy? John Lennon's famous quote summarizes how happiness can be set as its own intention in life. When I went to school, they asked me what I wanted to be when I grew up. I wrote down happy. They told me I didn't understand the assignment, and I told them they didn't understand life. When looking at my own sense of happiness, I naturally wondered about what happiness looked like for other people in my life. My upbringing made it tricky to separate happiness from job satisfaction. When we have an abundance of jobs around us, our personal satisfaction counts for far more than its monetary value. When we are self-reflecting with our work roles, we question ourselves regarding our overall levels of satisfaction. We seek gratification in the work we do, therefore the requirement to seek satisfaction overtakes the material reward. This outstrips the principal reason for working. When we can cover our basic needs, we seek to venture beyond our safety net and take our pursuit towards happiness more extremely. Can differentiating between our job roles and overall satisfaction in life lead to answer the following question? What is it that makes us happy in our lives? The hours we spend each day in a job accumulate and make up significant parts of our lives. Is the pursuit to sustain levels of happiness you seek within a professional domain, or is it simply a way of going through the motions in order to provide for your family? These answers will differ in respect to where you are regarding your levels of satisfaction in life. My parents had different experiences in this. They knew they needed to provide for their family. One loved their job, the other found it a necessity for contributing to the household income. The significance lies within the answer to these key questions. What makes me happy? What are the conditions that nurture this level of happiness for us to sustain and thrive? Is it that once everything is synchronized within our lives, we are able to label it as happiness, fulfillment, and/or success? What drives our success to make us who we are today? These questions allowed me to write my thoughts about how we need to approach and reflect within our own lives. We can assess what our own needs and desires are and take control without life leading us astray. Once I spoke to my friend over coffee, it instinctively occurred to me that I could reflect upon my personal journey, and the result is this book. I have kept a journal as a means of reflection throughout my adult life, particularly as a practitioner coaching strength and conditioning. I discovered writing as an opportunity to assess and contemplate events. Reflecting and journaling became a tool to navigate through my problems and create solutions. Writing also happened to be a key influencer in helping me through personal struggles. This book was written whilst I was still recovering from significant setbacks in my life, some of which occurred while I was still actively working on my mindset. The combination of research and writing allowed me to build a breadth of knowledge into understanding my own emotional pathway, and consequently, directly or otherwise, I knew I was able to nurture the ability to be more sympathetic towards others and heighten my emotional intelligence. Everyone's journey is different, and we all experience different levels of stress, discomfort, anguish, and heartache. But this book was created to shine some light on some of my personal encounters. My childhood was an extremely happy one. My brother and I brought up in a loving, kind, protected home, and I was able to pursue various dreams through the support of my family. This book allowed me to be vulnerable and write down some of my experiences that have made me who I am today. And this book was written to showcase some of my vulnerabilities in the hope that you may also uncover some of yours. My hope is that through this book, you can discover your best self and create habits of success and happiness along the way. This is a personal journey of self-discovery, and within each chapter, I will provide some hard-hitting questions that may support your own pursuit to discover your own happiness in the time to consider sections. This include practical tools and tips to expand your version of success and unleash your potential. On a practical note, I suggest you create a separate notepad or journal to write down your answers. On a more personal note, some of my personal recollections may shock you, but I have aimed to provide a truly honest account of the various impactful events from my life in the hope that you too will not shy away from the past events that you may feel like shying away from. You need to be able to look back at previous experiences with self-compassion and without judgment in order to answer the questions I asked throughout the book honestly. You may want to bookmark the points where the questions are posed in order to answer them later and see how your answers have changed. I also encourage you not to become disheartened if you are either disappointed by your current answers or feel that you don't have any answer at all. The more practical solutions offered are there to help shift your mindset and serve to assist you with any struggles. And the main purpose is to heighten your awareness surrounding any pervading problems or thoughts in your life and come up with an active solution. I now call any new problems an opportunity. There may be some chapters you resonate with, others you may not. Some chapters center on moments of realization and personal recollection, like Authentically You, Conscious Eating, and The Storm Will Pass, while others offer more practical tips on changing your mindset, such as Conscious Eating, My Love Affair, and You Snooze, You Win. The chapters on intention setting and meditation come after detailing breakthrough periods in my life. Though these episodes in my life were traumatic and stressful, I was able to overcome them because of the work I did beyond the more practical aspects of sleep, exercise, and food, the standard triad any health practitioner would recommend. I would not advise trying to change too much at once. For me, once I tackled the basics, I found these other forms of self-development were a natural progression. Even though there is no set plan for everyone, taking these steps towards self-development will allow you to develop your own synergy, which will form a personal, holistic approach. This will allow you to set your own blueprint in which you will incorporate wellness into your life. Throughout this book, I have woven in my own light-hearted but insightful stories in a bid to support your own experiences. Whatever you are going through is totally fine, and you will always have a choice to change things that happen to you. I believe that often things are happening for you, and that it is about empowering yourself to realize it will always be within your superpower to choose exactly what it is that is right for you. You will see how I had to retrain myself to become positive. It was hard work initially, but this mindset can become more natural. I believe the same can happen to you. I am thankful and have enjoyed each moment of this journey, from putting my thoughts on paper to researching materials for supporting evidence and even the hours of editing. Thank you for giving it a chance to read or listen, for picking up this book and taking time for you, and allowing me to express my inner thoughts and experiences. Life is a journey, not to see the world, but to find yourself, your place in the world, and discover your own happiness. It is not a destination to be reached, but a journey to be enjoyed. Maybe your journey isn't so much about becoming anything. Maybe it's unbecoming everything that isn't really you, so you can be who you're meant to be in the first place. Thank you for listening to my introduction to Happiness Within. And remember, if you wanted to purchase this, head over to the links in the description box where you can find a paper version of this book. I'll see you on the next podcast. Speak to you soon for more story time for Happiness Within.